I understand that things can always change. Nothing is ever set in stone when it comes to goaltending in the National Hockey League. But I saw a stat that I wanted to talk about in regards to the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers that indicate that early returns on the Stuart Skinner trade for Tristan Jarry may be mixed. Take a look at this. Tristan Jarry and Stuart Skinner's stats since the trade which saw them get swapped for each other. Posted by NHL Muse on January 28th. Tristan Jarry, in 9 games, has an .884 save percentage, a .323 goals against, and a negative 0.6 goals saved above expected. Meanwhile, Stuart Skinner, 11 games played, .906 save percentage, a .231 goals against, and he's got 6 goals saved above expected. What in the world? The question is, which goalie would you rather have moving forward? Sure, it may be true that Stuart Skinner was in net for Leon Draisaitl's 1,000th milestone point, where all the Oilers went out there and celebrated, they all hugged, they all did their thing in the corner while Stu was just kind of there, looking down at the ground, looking all sad. But so far, based off of how early returns are going on this trade, it looks like Stu has been the better goaltender than Jarry, even if you go over to the updated numbers here. Skinner, .906 save percentage for the Penguins. Jarry has an .884 for the Oilers. It's kind of weird, but when you take a look at it, the best goalie in Edmonton ever since the trade went down has been Connor Ingram. I mean, no disrespect to Connor Ingram, of course, but this is a guy who, ever since the trade went down, has been kind of good. Yes, you don't want to see a goalie give up 3 goals on 12 shots in a 6-5 overtime win, but he was still there. He had a shutout against the St. Louis Blues. How great is that? I mean, .944 save percentage and a 1-0 loss to the Islanders. I'd say that that's McDavid and Draisaitl's fault. They didn't score any goals. So Connor Ingram has, oddly enough, been the best goaltender in Edmonton since the trade has gone down. Stu Skinner has confidently taken that starter spot away from Artur Shilovs or Sergei Murashov or whomever else they want to have in net. So it's kind of bizarre that Skinner, a guy with a reputation of being one of the worst goalies in the league, a reputation that I do think is fair in some respect, is doing so well. I mean, he has a 6 goals saved above expected metric. There were 6 expected goals that should have been scored on Skinner that he ended up stopping. Meanwhile, Tristan Jarry has let in 0.86 goals that probably should not have gone in. And I get it, fancy stats, it's the numbers. Oh, how can you have .86 of a goal? That doesn't make any sense. It essentially means that Skinner has been a lot better than Jarry, straight up. And I wanted to dive into some of the replies over here to get the conversation going. Skinner is on the final year of his deal at $2.6 million. Meanwhile, Jarry is under contract for 2 more years at $5.375 million AAV. And you gotta be asking, okay, so when you ask who would you rather have moving forward, you mean till the end of the season? Skinner will be getting a new contract in the $4.5 to $5 million range. Also, Skinner is 7-4, Jarry is 6-2. The most important stat line was left out. You have another reply that says that Stuart Skinner is the streakiest goalie in the NHL. It's pretty early to judge this trade. At least Jarry can move laterally. Okay, that's bold. Another reply goes out there and says, Penguins won the trade so far. Yeah, so far for sure, but we'll see how the trade ages. Wait, so the Oilers traded away the better goalie, but sent additional pieces to Pittsburgh to make it happen? Let's go out there and read this. As much as I like the deal for the Penguins, Kulak and Skinner had to be in there for cap reasons. Like, props to Dubas for sticking with the not retaining, can't hear you routine, but it's not like there was a huge second plus 0 cap back market for either of them at the time. Which I do think is a really big point that we should bring up here. It wasn't as cut and dry as like, oh, Edmonton paid to get the better goalie off of their team. Like, it's not that simple. Pyronut goes out there and says, wait till the playoffs. I'm sorry, Pens fans. It doesn't matter if Skinner completely implodes. From a Pens fan perspective, Kyle Dubas cooked with this. It's funny that Oilers fans don't understand that. And I guess, for Pittsburgh's sake, it doesn't really matter if Skinner is, like, good or bad or whatever. The team is competitive right now, and that's all that matters. You still want to have at least some capability of winning. But at the same time, it's like, Stuart Skinner, like it or not, he is still the runner-up goaltender who went to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Sure, he sucked in the run last year. With the exception of a few games against Dallas and Vegas, he's been pretty bad in these playoffs. But he still has that experience, and it's such a strange dynamic dissecting the career of Stuart Skinner because he started out so good, so competent in Edmonton, and then he made the finals multiple times, and then he stunk. 891 save percentage in 23 games. He was unplayable earlier on in the season. It's like, oh yeah, change of scenery. Now he's going out there and he's producing. He's scoring, or not scoring, he's saving 6 goals above expected. How in the world is that possible? Meanwhile, Tristan Jarry, yes, he's winning games, but he is not looking good either. Does this speak to a bigger issue on Edmonton's decor? Well, they definitely aren't getting any better by trading away Brett Kulak. Of course, they needed to include Kulak in that trade in order for it to happen, but still. Does this speak to a bigger issue that the Oilers have as a part of their defending rather than the guy who's in between the pipes? You can say that maybe it doesn't because Connor Ingram is actually doing fine. He's doing all right. We didn't expect Connor Ingram to have the level of success that he has had based off of his past 12 months worth of NHL play and off-ice issues. The Oilers gave him a chance, and it's awesome that they did that, but the fact that he's the best goalie they have at the moment over a guy that was supposed to be a pretty big upgrade over the last one, that's a pretty mind-blowing thing. Scrolling down over here, which one has the worst playoff stats for a goalie in NHL history? Okay, we do not necessarily need to talk too much about that. Yeah, Tristan Jarry. It's not good for him in the playoffs. I mean, if the Oilers want to make the Stanley Cup Finals again, Jarry's going to have to be much better than the 888, 867 save percentage goalie that he had been in the postseason at a time. And yeah, no, we got a lot of other people talking about this. Hated the trade to begin with. I assume Richard here is an Oilers fan. LeBron James, Luka Doncic. Thank you, Cena. Hey, that's a pretty good one. Darnell Nurse effect. There you go. I'm good with Jarry. So good with Jarry. Penguins fans forget the Oilers were down 2-0 to LA in round 1 after Stu let in 6 each game. Yeah, we'll see whether or not Stuart Skinner is able to do some masterclass Stuart Skinner-like things in the playoffs later if the Penguins end up making it. But I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Early returns on the Jarry-Skinner deal. Let me know in the comments who do you think won, who do you think's looking better, and why. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.